If you were able to catch the live stream last night, we actually covered AMC, and we were looking at the potentials for a downside, and we absolutely got the targets that we were talking about. So let's go ahead and find out what potentials we have for the following sessions. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, this is ARCa coming at you with an AMC technicals and raw price action thread of analysis on this Taco Tuesday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them can consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, so yes, we were talking about a lot of confluent signals suggesting a downside. First of all, we noticed this, the shoulder here, the head and the shoulder for a very silly formation called the head and shoulders. Okay, so we found that herpy-derpy right here, and it actually did continue on to the downside. The next validator that we actually saw was the potential of us reclaiming the inside of the broadening descending wedge, which is this purple one, right, on the smaller term time frame. Okay, so upon reclaiming the inside of the formation, we actually came back up and tested that resistance, and this is where we were saying that that's another signal of a potential continuation to the downside. Okay, so and I did express as well that the targets to face to the downside would actually be pretty I don't want to say needed, but it would be a continuation to give a validation to this macro scale ascending channel that we've been riding for a few years, right? So this huge channel here is essentially the bottom where we're at right now. Okay, so I just want to go ahead and show you the relevance of the channel itself, which is this. I'm just going to draw a trend line there so that we can see it, right? So the very bottom of the channel, this right here. Okay, so go ahead and notice that the price action came just a couple cents away from it, right? So it definitely came back to it. Okay, so now it also came back to test the top side of this gap right over here, right? So very, very likely we would find areas like this as support. So let's just go ahead and take a look at this. This was our third signal for a downside continuation, and this is an ascending channel. Okay, so ascending channels are usually a bearish formation, and we talked about the fourth signal for the downside. And what was that fourth signal? Well, it was actually the golden rule of three. Okay, so once we have test number 1, 2, and 3 of the resistances, the downside is highly likely, and it would actually force the price action to finally realize its true nature, right? I'm talking about the ascending channel's true nature. So it is destined for the price action to kind of fail or succeed the outside of the channel to the downside. Okay, so this is definitely a short seller's a dream upon that test number 3. If you are familiar with this channel, you will know and you would be very familiar with what I'm talking about. Okay, so now I want to express to you the reason why we found such a significant bounce from about 436 to about 464. So if you recall, this bottom here was the area that we were talking about as a potential area for a bounce, right? So this zone is in fact where we actually came right back again to validate as a support. So as you can see, we actually came right back down to that target that we were talking about the last time, right? Almost to the penny, right? Because the candle even, the candle comes even lower here on this iteration here. And you can see that we actually just came a bit lower than that as well. Okay, so now let's go ahead and continue on the analysis here and see what we have as a potential for the coming days. Okay, so the 30-minute immediate short-term time frame is suggesting an immediate upside, and so is the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so if we're looking at an immediate upside, then we can do a couple things for speculation here. Okay, so first of all, let's bring in our SMAs and see if we have anything near us. Okay, so as actually this may be a little too big of a capitulation event for us to rely on moving averages. In fact, let's do some geometrics instead, and let's take into consideration our 12-hour instead. Okay, as the 12-hour is already facing an upside continuation. Okay, so we're going to take this. So this is the same day. These two candles represent an entire daily candle, right? So we're going to take the overall swing low to the swing high inverse fib so that we can see what the potentials are for us. Okay, so you can actually see that we came right back down to that 2.272. It's very common for us to take the trade to the 272s and to the 618s, right? So now we actually are facing just a little bit of resistance from the 1.618 at 482. So if I were to give you a range of resistance for, I'd say maybe tomorrow, then I would give you this. Actually, it would be the space of about $5.05 to about $5.16, 506 to, yeah, take the 1.272. Okay, so 505 to 516. That's essentially what I'm looking at as a form of resistance before a continuation to the downside. And I guess if we do need to make the downside continuation, there is another area for a bounce, and that could be located at the 2.618, which is the resistance levels of all these here. Okay, so that's not to say that that's the end all and be all, because as we were getting closer to the channel, well, my apologies, should have not drank so much water. If we're looking for, I mean, if we're coming back down to that 414 level of the 2.618, then we're starting to get dangerously close to just, you know, kind of wanting to test this, the newly converted, what was a resistance, right? See, we were resisting the top side of the channel here as a support, just like we did here, right? So yes, we did have a nice touch there, and we continued on to the upside, but this was in respects to an ABCD strategy, of which we already have been looking at for some time. Okay, and we did absolutely expect this downside from up here, as it was the last opportunity that we would see, right? So, but in this case, yeah, if we're going to start testing that 414 level, then we are starting to, you know, kind of validate the potential of coming back down all the way to the 358 to maybe even 346 level at about the 3.618. Please remember, I'm long this ticker, and I definitely don't want that to happen, right? But I just want to express to you those probabilities. Another thing too here that can validate a downside continuation is the fact that we have printed a bearish engulfing here on the 12-hour iteration. Okay, so that usually happens when the red body of the forward candle engulfs the prior candle's green body, right? So this is a huge bearish engulfing and suggesting the downside even still. Okay, so, and we did get a series of them, right? So you're looking at, I just want to show you this, right? So please go ahead and notice this right over here. Okay, this is bearish engulfing number 1. And this is bearish engulfing number 2 right here. This is bearish engulfing number 3 right here. Bearish engulfing number 4. And now we're actually in the process of building another bear. I mean, we already got this bearish engulfing, right? So you can just see how relevant the price action is when it comes to candle formations on the upper term timeframes. Okay, so good thing for you to keep in consideration, and definitely something, if you're a master's student and you have already enrolled in my master's course, then this is something that you will be learning actually in the second week. Okay, you guys, so I remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever. Okay, I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be just fine. Please remember to visit the links in the description below if you would like to visit me on Twitter or join the ARCa Bulls trading community in Discord. Okay, you guys, but with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.